you. So when I thought about putting my hand up to speak, I originally thought I was going to be talking about all of my boyfriends, but after hearing Danny's talk earlier, I realized that while some things were fresh in our minds, I would talk about something a lot more useful. I'm going to start by showing a video. It's about 5 minutes long of a speech that I gave at an event that happened here in Brisbane on the 6th of June of this year. This was the Black Lives Matter rally that was attended by approximately 35,000 people. They announced me as the next speaker immediately after they announced the number of people in attendance. And I had some things to say. So let me just find the right screen here. Share computer sound. Here we go.
Leslie here to speak. She is the daughter of a Black Panther.
This is Leslie's camera. I just want to make sure.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So just give her a hand. Give her a hand. Her name is Leslie.
Yes, sis!
There's this narrative of the giant, black, monolithic monster that needs to end. People talk about what's happening in the US right now, and some people say things like, why are they burning down their cities? I had so much sympathy for them before they started messing things up.
Leslie's camera.
Or those people, without really considering who they are referring to when they say they, them, those people. Because to a lot of people, we're all just one giant monster. And that needs to stop. I grew up in suburban Pennsylvania in a very white community, a very white school district. Everyday racism was not just a trending topic in my home, it was our reality. My friends, my nephews, my brother, my cousins, the few black faces that existed in my community grew up being told what they can and cannot wear when they go shopping. No! We grew up being told that we have to be stronger, louder, smarter, work 15 times as hard as anyone else, not just to succeed, but to be taken seriously. I was raised by a Peruvian mother, an African-American father from Oakland, who is an activist, an intellectual, a scholar. But to so many people, his life means nothing. His life doesn't matter. He likes nice cars. So what's gonna happen one day when he's driving his car and some cop who has had a bad day decides that they don't like the sight of a big, broad-shouldered black man driving a nice car?
Where's the justice?
Where's the justice? Sometimes the best hope that I have for my father's life, for my brother's life, for my nephew's life, is that if and when they run into some sort of problem with the racist police, that there will be cameras there.
Yes. Yes.
We've seen so many videos of people being killed by police. What about the ones that are not on camera? Everyday racism is something that needs to be called out by everyone. Solidarity is not just a hashtag. So what are you going to do when we're not trending anymore? Are you going to call out everyday racism? Are you going to
Yes.
corporations and people making millions of traditions and symbols and aesthetics
Yes. Yes.
from Black people that they have taken and capitalized on. Are you going to call out companies and people and influencers and public figures who vilify and at once fetishize and criticize the features of Black women's bodies and then celebrate those features when they're on a white woman? Look within yourself, confront your own internal prejudices, and that is what you need to act on after all of this is over, because that is what gets ingrained in our children's minds, in Black children's minds, in white children's minds. After you leave here today, after you've posted all this stuff on your Instagram, on your Facebook, which you should do, the conversation doesn't end there. Remember that. Solidarity is not just a hashtag.
Yes, Leslie! Woo!
I still have that poster because I have a feeling I'm not done with it. I remember the whole week or so leading up to that event, I had this knot in my stomach. And it wasn't because I was on the speakers list, because I wasn't on the speakers list until the night before the event. The knot in my stomach was because I could see what was about to happen. I could see signs of it on the internet when, in some of the discussions about the upcoming rally, with all of the rallies that had been happening all over the world after the murder of George Floyd, hospital helicopters. The conversations that were happening online were so performative that it was not surprising. It did break my heart, but it frustrated me more than anything. People jumping online saying, can anyone send me some links for some poster inspo? I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like, this isn't an event designed to decorate your social media profiles with. And even the subjects that I touched on during the talk were ones that were very close to my heart. Again, like I didn't have a speech prepared. I just knew that I was going to know what to say as soon as I got the microphone. So I touched on things like growing up being told what we could wear when we went out shopping. At some point in most children's lives, they have their parents give them the talk. In Black families, there's another big talk that's not about the birds and the bees, but it's about being Black, especially in the United States, and how people might perceive you. So things like going shopping meant that couldn't wear anything too baggy, couldn't wear anything with too many pockets, couldn't wear a jacket if it was warm weather. Anything that would make us look suspicious, we're just like, no, you can't wear that. And that's something that a lot of people don't have to consider. I talked about fetishizing the features of Black women's bodies and then only celebrating them when they're on a white woman. I was once told, I was complimented for having Kylie Jenner lips. And for those of you who don't know who Kylie Jenner is, she is of the Kardashian dynasty. She is famous for having these pouty lips that everyone loves that have been artificially enhanced. She doesn't even pretend that they're not artificial. But her lips were celebrated like crazy. Angelina Jolie, again, famous for her lips. So me being complimented as a Black woman for having Kylie Jenner lips was extremely offensive. And I think some of you saw my second Black Lives Matter rally speech that I delivered on the 4th of July, and will have noted that there was a significantly smaller turnout. Whereas the first one had about 35,000. I don't know what the estimate was for the second one, but it really couldn't have been more than like 1,000 or 2,000. And even in that speech, again, I repeated, solidarity is not just a hashtag. Because, you know, once we stopped trending, it's like people just didn't care anymore. Or if they did care, the way that care presented itself just turned into another performance. I mentioned in the second speech all the memes that went around of Dr. King as an example of peaceful protests, noting that, sure, he was about peaceful protest, but he had things to say about the reasons that riots happen. But one thing that the people sharing these memes would always neglect to include is the fact that he got killed too. As people, we still have a lot to learn about how to work together, and there aren't any simple solutions. It's a very complex problem. The issues of systemic racism are very complex, but the one thing that has to happen is for people to actually listen. Listen to the voices of people who are being oppressed in certain contexts. Listen without judgment. Listen without letting that fragility impede your understanding. I could go on for hours and hours and hours about this. Anyway, thank you.